With most Egypt itineraries, sightseeing at the temples and tombs is definitely going to take up a lot of your time. But Egypt has plenty of things to do beyond its pharaonic era tourist attractions. With its abundant sea life and colourful corals, the Red Sea is one of the best places to visit in the world for scuba diving, while the Sinai Peninsula and the Western Desert provide plenty of scope for adventure travel activities such as camping, desert four-wheel drive touring and camel riding. Meanwhile, Egypt's most iconic thing to do while here is taking a trip up or down the Nile, which combines viewing the highlights of ancient Egypt's vast history with a scenic cruise. Find out about the best activities to add into your trip. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the 10 best things to do in Egypt. And just wait till you see the top 3 that we're going to be showing in this video, something you would never even have thought of, so make sure you watch till the end. Before we begin, you can help support our channel by becoming a member of this channel. Press the join button below. This will help us to bring you more awesome travel videos. So now, let's cut to the chase. At 10. Hot air balloon ride over Luxor. Luxor's west bank, with its temples and monuments set between a patchwork of lush farming fields and small villages, is one of the world's great historic landscapes, and a hot air ballooning ride here offers a unique perspective over the riches below. You'll need to get up early, as hot air balloon rides only lift off at sunrise, but the early start is worth the wake-up call for the soft morning light, which is the best for photography. During the flight, you'll be able to view the West Bank's landscape in total, with the sinuous curves of the Nile River bordering it to the east, and the looming orange-hued escarpment which hides the famed royal tombs of the pharaonic era to the west. Next up at 9, explore the Thistlegorm wreck. There are plenty of wrecks off the Red Sea coast to explore, but the most famous is the Thistlegorm. This World War II cargo ship, filled with supplies to aid Allied forces fighting in the Western Desert, was bombed by the Germans and sunk in 1941. The wreck was located by famed French diver Jacques Cousteau in 1956, but as he didn't disclose its location, it was only in the mid-1990s when it was rediscovered that the site was open for recreational diving. Although it is possible to day trip to the site by boat, due to the travel time, the best way to dive here is by liveaboard, overnight boat trips, which allow you more time at the site. A typical one-night liveaboard Thistlegorm trip includes 2 dives at the site, allowing ample opportunity to explore the ship's interior and exterior. At 8, camp in the White Desert. White Desert National Park is where you come to experience one of Egypt's most surreal landscapes. The wind-sculpted chalk rock outcrops of White Desert National Park are the Western Desert region's most surreal landscapes and prime territory for desert camping trips under star-strewn skies. Trips can be organized in Baharia Oasis, which is also the easiest oasis to reach from Cairo. A typical White Desert itinerary stops at several sites within the national park. These normally include Crystal Mountain, an outcrop made entirely from quartz, an area where the smaller white rock formations have been eroded into fantastical shapes, and the part of the park where some of the more dramatic and tall chalk towers loom over valleys of sand. After touring the White Desert, visitors bed down for the night within the park. At sunset and sunrise, the white rock spires and formations take on apricot tones. If you can time your trip for full moon, the light cast over the white rock here during the night is beautifully eerie. Most White Desert camping tours also stop at the Black Desert, either on the way to or from the White Desert. Here there are great photo opportunities of the rock-pitted plateau if you scramble up to the summit of Gebel Az-Zukak. At 7, hike up Mt Sinai. The most famous hike in Egypt, to the summit of Mt Sinai, Gebel Musa, can be achieved by anyone with a decent level of fitness. There are 2 main trails up to the peak. The Camel Trail is a wide switchback trail up the slope and is the most popular route. As its name suggests, you can hire a camel at the start of the trail to take you most of the way up if you don't want to walk. The Steps of Repentance is a steeper staircase of 3,750 rough-cut stone steps and was laid out by a monk from St. Catherine's Monastery. The mountain views are astounding along the way, and there are far fewer people tackling this route, so it's much more peaceful. The typical guided tour from Sharm el-Sheikh and Dahab tackles the mountain to get to the summit for sunrise. For a quieter experience, where you could likely be the only people on the mountain in the cooler months, come independently and hike during the day. Next up at 6, camel ride at the Giza pyramids. One of Cairo's most iconic things to do is camel ride at the pyramids. Due to the distances involved in exploring the site, it actually makes sense as well. The best option is to camel ride south from the Pyramid of Mycerinus, Enquiries, into the desert to one of the panoramic viewpoints of the entire site. For the best photography light and most comfortable riding experience, time your ride for around sunset. Camel toots proliferate around the site, offering their services. Always check if the camel looks healthy and well fed before agreeing, as camel welfare continues to be an issue at this site. Also, agree on a price before riding, not during the ride or after. You will most likely need to haggle. At 5, head to the beach. In the depths of the Northern Hemisphere winter, Egypt's beaches have become a welcome escape for European families seeking blue skies and easygoing fun. The Red Sea coastline surrounding the towns of Hurghada and El Gouna, as well as the beaches of Sharm el-Sheikh in South Sinai, attract droves of sun-seekers from around November to March. All have plenty of resort choice, from vast mega-resorts dedicated to family-friendly beach vacations to smaller boutique-style resorts marketed as romantic breaks. Choose Hurghada or El Gouna if you want to be within day-tripping distance of the temples and tombs of Luxor. In Hurghada, you can also find an assortment of all-inclusive resorts to make your beach trip that much more enjoyable. Sharm el-Sheikh is the top choice for keen divers who want to explore the dive sites of Ras Mohammed and the Straits of Tiran. Next up at 4, sail around Aswan on a Felucca. The most iconic Nile views are all in Aswan, and the best way to see them is to hop aboard a Felucca. Cast off from one of the boat landing points in central Aswan for a few hours or an entire day of gentle sightseeing around the islands in town. A typical Felucca itinerary includes the stops at the ruins of Abu on Elephantine Island, Aswan Botanical Gardens on Kitchener's Island, and the boat landings near the monastery of St. Simeon and the tombs of the nobles on Aswan's west bank. As all Felucca itineraries are completely customizable, you can choose how many Aswan sites you want to see. Another popular short option is a sunset Felucca ride. And now at 3, explore Luxor's west bank by bike. During Egypt's winter months, when the blue sky days are pleasantly temperate, one of the most scenic ways to explore Luxor's west bank is by bike. Touring the various temple and tomb sites this way allows for a more leisurely pace and plenty of opportunities to admire the landscape of green farming fields with a jagged escarpment behind. For a leisurely and flat ride, cycle from the Nile ferry landing. Bicycles are allowed onto the ferry for free. To the Colossi of Memnon, and then do a loop between Medinat Habu Temple, the tombs of the nobles, and the Ramesseum, and Deir al-Bahri, Temple of Hatshepsut. The road to the Valley of the Kings is a bit more of a slog, so leave that for a separate cycle ride and plan to set out early in the day, even in winter. A doable Valley of the Kings itinerary could incorporate both the Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Queens, or the Valley of the Kings and the tombs of Deir al-Medina. Many of the hotels and guest houses in Luxor, both on the east and west bank, either rent bicycles or offer them free to use for guests. Next up at 2, dive the Red Sea at Sharm el-Sheikh. Before Sharm el-Sheikh became a favoured winter sun destination for northern Europeans, it was primarily known for its scuba diving. Although far more visitors now arrive here looking for the simple pleasures of sun and sand, the diving in the Red Sea here is still first-rate. Egypt's Red Sea is scattered with world-class dive sites, but 2 of the most famous dive destinations are easiest reached from Sharm el-Sheikh. Ras Mohammed National Park and the Straits of Tiran offer divers an undersea experience complete with vibrant corals, abundant sea life and wrecks to explore. If you're in Sharm specifically to dive, you may want to forego the large luxury resorts and instead stay at one of the smaller dive-focused hotels, where services are totally arranged around your diving. And finally at number 1, cruise the Nile from Aswan to Luxor. Hopping aboard a Nile cruise is Egypt's most relaxing sightseeing experience, as well as the most popular thing to do for visitors in the country. The southern Nile Valley, Upper Egypt, between Luxor and Aswan, is the most popular stretch of the Nile for a cruise, for obvious reasons. It is both home to the most famous of Egypt's grand riverside temples, Kom Ombo and Edfu, which make for easy stops along the journey, and the best rural Nile-side scenery, with the lush green thread of fertile fields and date palm-lined riverbanks giving way to orange sand dunes beyond. A normal Nile cruise along this route includes sightseeing in Luxor and Aswan, making this an easygoing and comfortable way to tour that showcases the best of southern Egypt. For a longer itinerary, there is also the option to cruise between Cairo and Luxor, or all the way down to Aswan. The northern section of the Nile has far fewer sailings, but if your primary aim on your Egypt trip is to take in as many of ancient Egypt's sites as possible, but still do it in comfort, this is an excellent option. And there you have the 10 best things to do in Egypt. Did you like what you saw? Let us know in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fantastic travel guides. Check out more videos on Africa in our African Travel Guide playlist. That's all for now, until next time.